All right, so let's go back now to the scene, and that's where we'll find our senior reporter, Chriselda Lewis, live for us at the Hennops River. Chriselda, of course, this scene has been unfolding for several hours now. Bring us up to speed in terms of the retrieval processes of that fifth body that was identified, or discovered rather, earlier this afternoon.
All right, Unati, the retrieval process has already taken place. These divers, the police divers, have already managed to retrieve the fifth body here at the Hennops River. That happened just a few moments ago. And this, of course, as investigations still continue to identify the bodies that had earlier been retrieved and the ones that were retrieved yesterday. What we do know is that the families of the missing police officers have made their way to Pretoria and will be heading to the mortuary to identify the bodies that were retrieved. So at this particular stage, we're waiting to hear from the National Police Commissioner with regards to whether the bodies that have been retrieved, if there's any positive identification that will be made to the missing police officers. We're expecting an update a little bit later on today with regard to that. But this has been an unfolding scene here where the fifth body was discovered at a second location here in Centurion. And you would know from the first scene where we were a bit earlier on, we had some of the forensics teams that had been collecting evidence there, and we were told that while the vehicle that the missing police officers has not yet been found, they did find some parts of a VW Polo at the first scene, which we had been reporting from this morning. These are the divers that had gone in to retrieve that body. This now, the fifth body that had been brought out of the Hennops River. So, as I was saying, Unati, you had the VW Polo, which these missing police officers, the one that they were traveling in, has not yet been found. However, a Renault Bakkie had been found at the first scene where we were. Now, we're not sure exactly what is linked to this particular case that we have been reporting on, and further details pertaining to that, of course, will come from the police in terms of what their investigation is. We had also expected the families of the police officers to make their way to the mortuary, and from there they will then make their way to the first scene. That is what we were told from police. So at this particular stage, in the past hour, 5, of course in total now, fifth body has been discovered. It's already been taken out of the Hennops River. These police divers that you see in front of me and other rescue teams have been here the whole morning. And what we understand is that perhaps that body might have gone from upstream, the first location where we were, or the first scene where we were, and basically floated to this area where we are broadcasting from at this particular stage. So in terms of the details that we have, the next update we understand that we will get from police is with regard to what they know at this stage. Are these bodies related? We know there was an earlier fourth one that had been discovered, and police had told us that there were golfers who had located them towards a direction where there was that fourth body that was discovered. But police are ruling out any connection between that fourth body and this investigation, which is currently underway. But with the 5 that we have at this particular stage, it's the police who will be able to give us a detailed account of whether and which of these bodies may be linked to the missing police officers. So, Unati, breaking news at this hour, the fifth body has been retrieved from the Hennops River in Centurion at this particular time. So the families, we understand, of the missing police officers, we have been saying, have been with the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimula, and he has been getting, together with psychosocial support, preparing the families for the identification of the bodies that have been retrieved thus far. I guess also this one that has now been retrieved, it is also going to form part of the scope of their investigation, which will lead us to whether or which of these bodies are related to the missing police officers. Unati, I'll hand back to you in studio.
Chriselda, if you can hear me before, of course, you leave. We have now heard, of course, from the police minister, Senzo Mkhunu, and as you rightfully indicate, of course, cautioning against linking the retrieval of the 5 bodies to that of the missing police officers. Earlier on, you spoke to police spokesperson Chriselda Lewis as well as General Sibia. Of course, these are tough times for the SAPS following that intense search for the missing police officers. Give us a sense in terms of just how this particular, operation has affected the SAPS, at least from the vantage point where you have been engaging with them today.
Well, Unati, you would have seen an earlier interview that we did with Brigadier Chriselda Lewis, who is the spokesperson for the South African Police Service. She was incredibly emotional when we spoke to her. I guess the suspicion had been that perhaps there may be a link with some of the bodies that have been found to the missing police officers, given that the families had been brought from the Free State to Pretoria to come and identify these bodies that have since been found. As I indicated, this 5th body will also form part of the scope of this investigation by authorities into which of these bodies, if at all, are linked to the missing police officers. So it's incredibly affected them because there are no answers at this particular stage in terms of what exactly happened. We did pose to police a bit earlier on whether part of their investigation includes whether these police officers were targeted, what exactly happened. We don't have those details at this stage, and I guess a clearer picture will be painted for us by the National Police Commissioner. At this particular time, all of it is speculation in terms of which of these bodies may be linked to the missing police officers. So that detailed brief expected from the National Police Commissioner in terms of what exactly their investigation thus far is telling them. And quite crucial to that, as I indicated, is the families that have been brought from the Free State to Pretoria, to the mortuary, where they will identify some of those bodies. So once that has happened, the families are with the National Police Commissioner. So once we get a brief, that brief will tell us what police know at this particular stage.